First and 12. First and 12. A weekly roundup of America's most competitive football conference, the Big 12. Your hosts are Mitch Harper and Alex Kirry.
First and 12 rolls on here on KSL News Radio. Mitch Harper and Alex Kirry with you. Appreciate all of you for supporting First and 12. If you miss any part of the program, check out our podcast feed so you can get all the latest in the world of Big 12 football wherever you get your podcast. This is the season finale of the show. So Tuesday nights, you'll still have Cougar Tracks and BYU basketball with Kevin Young here on KSL News Radio. But First and 12 will take a break until next August for more First and 12 here on KSL News Radio. And this year concluded the second season of the 16-team Big 12, Alex, and kind of just begs the question, like, what have you learned about this league and maybe comparison to the other conferences around college football?
I love that they've added as many teams as they have over the past couple of years. I worry that the state of college football, and this is not necessarily, I don't want to go too philosophical on this, but hear me out. Think about what the rest of the conferences are doing that are the ones that are kind of the darlings, right? You think about it's the SEC and it's the Big Ten.
Yeah.
In a weird way, too, and frankly, artificially, the ACC's in that mix, and obviously Notre Dame is at the spot where they're at because if they, I don't care what the schedule is or what year it is, if they only lose 2 games, and even the fashion that they do it in or when they do it, they're going to be in the conversation always. And if you're really talking about the Big 12 and their possibility of elbowing their way into the future of the college football playoff as it stands in football, they have to figure out a way to be discussed ahead of the ACC. Not ahead of Notre Dame, but a 3-loss Notre Dame team should never get in, right? I think the schedules just aren't good enough. I think a 2-loss Notre Dame team, you can make the argument fine every year. You should be able to. But their schedule is pretty weak because it includes half of the ACC, which is one of the worst conferences in the Power 4 or the Power 5 or whatever we call it nowadays that we've seen in a long time. And it's evidenced by the fact that you have actual human beings who are part of the head leadership of of that conference and of the universities inside that conference that are arguing about changing bylaws today so that Miami should have been considered going forward, going into the the ACC championship game. You know why? Because they got out-qualified by a 7-5 Duke team. But it's the same team that is also being propped up from a national standpoint as the number 12 team in the country. And frankly, you'll see them probably pushed a lot harder and rewarded for not playing in a conference championship game, frankly, like a lot of other teams who are going to be sitting pretty, not having to play in a conference championship game because of the virtue of having a tough schedule where it, quote unquote, means more. I don't know what that looks like for the Big 12 going forward. There has to be a bit of a brand shift. I don't know how you do it, except for, in the immortal words of your friend Al Davis, just win, baby. All the arguments go away. All of the suppositions, all the why we should be there and they shouldn't. The amount of mental gymnastics that teams that have 2 and 3 losses are doing this week to explain away how they didn't show up prepared for games this year. Because that's the reality of it. Texas, you embarrassed yourself in Gainesville. You know why? Because that's an embarrassing program, and you lost to them. You embarrassed yourself in Starkville and got lucky. You embarrassed yourself in Lexington. You got lucky there, too. You beat a team, Texas A&M, at your place that, frankly, I could have told you. I knew exactly that's how the script was going to go. I know Mike Elko's mad about it, and I know Texas A&M fans will never live it down because Aggie fans down there are the butt of every joke by every Longhorn fan and every person, frankly, in the state of Texas. That's the way it is. Aggie jokes abound. That's a place I grew up. Like, we grew up telling Aggie jokes, right? And you saw people doing it this week. And the reality is that Texas is the bigger joke. Going out and arguing for a 3-loss team to get in. The SEC's a joke by propping themselves up to try to pretend like 6 teams are worthy of being in a place while you exclude a second team from the Big 12. Arizona State, by the way, remember this point last year? Do you remember what they were ranked last year going into this game?
Like 21, 19, somewhere in there?
15th.
15th. Okay.
By the end of the last ranking, they like kind of jumped up. So did Iowa State because they got to kind of make it look a little bit decent. And Arizona State won that game, and they got put in as the automatic qualifier into that 4th spot. The reality is they probably this year they wouldn't have been in there. They would have been like in that 10, 11 type range, right? And frankly, the only thing that's going to, and if you think that adding 4 teams, making it a 16 team, or heaven forbid, making it a 24 team league, we're going to have the same conversation, because instead it's going to be the SEC asking for 8 teams and the Big Ten asking for 8 teams, and it's going to get it's going to be a mess. And I don't see it getting better going forward until these programs look at Texas Tech and go, that's the model. You just have to win. And if that takes out spending the people that are going to beat you at all these other things, then do it. Just win, and then you don't have to have the conversation right there. Because BYU this week is already, I'm telling you, I'm already watching people back into the excuses of how they didn't get into this thing and why they should have been allowed to get in. Look at our strength of record. Look at all these things. If they win this weekend, then they're in, and that's the end of the discussion. Just like I think it should be for the rest of college football. Just win. I don't care about the back and forth about whether or not losing 2 games and then thanking the heavens that you don't go to a conference championship game because you'll get your 3rd loss is not a way to live. And too many teams in the SEC and the Big Ten do it.
It's a great take, because the thing is, it's frustrating, though, because honestly, we need to see a college football where I think it's okay to lose a game or 2, and we should reward teams that challenge themselves out of the conference. I hate now the Steve Sarkisians of the world that are saying, well, guess we're going to have to scale back on our non-conference scheduling. No, you're out because you lost to a terrible Florida team.
Yeah, that's a pouty like take. It's so dumb for them to say
I hate that BYU had a weak non-conference schedule. Now, East Carolina ended up being okay, but still, I want to see BYU play, someone really good in the power conferences. And I want to see the SEC schedule Big 12 teams. Like Auburn, Baylor, that was awesome. And we got a real barometer check of where Baylor was at. You couldn't beat a subpar SEC team. Yeah, you're not good. And look, Baylor was 5-7. They were not good. It was a good barometer and a real test to show the strength of that team. And so I feel like the Big 12, they've got to push hard going forward for what the Big Ten has been pushing for, and that's the 24-team playoff laced with a ton of automatic bids. That's what they've got to push for, because then we get to a point in the sport where it sounds extreme, and it really completely alters the whole concept of college football if we go to this. But 4 automatic bids for each power league, that to me is great, because then it just settles on the field. Okay, you know what? BYU might be a complete fraud. The way they play, it's not impressive. It's not beautiful to watch.
Right,
but
you'll find out. You'll find out if they are.
You're going to go to Ole Miss, and we're going to learn.
Right,
and we're going to find out.
But every year, who were the frauds last year? SMU, Indiana to an extent, Boise State certainly.
Yeah.
Like, you start to find it out, and then you go, and you expose the system. And immediately, what happened in the offseason? Well, let's make some changes here, because Boise State should not have been a 3 seed.
ASU shouldn't have been a 4 seed.
ASU should not have been a 4 seed.
Even though they looked every bit the part as good as Texas.
Right. And whether or not Texas is good or not, I still wonder, because I just think that there are brands getting by on brands right now.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because if it comes down to it, they're putting together a TV reality show. And the way that they do it, what you do is you put the they pick people on Dancing with the Stars, who are just people who, I heard that name. Where did I hear it recently? Well, they got famous on that stupid show.
I was hammering out the votes for Andy Richter.
It was you keeping him afloat.
I was a fandy.
Come on.
I was a fandy.
So do you see what I'm saying? And you think the
a guy looking like me dancing? Right. Yeah, man.
They give him a shot. But then, by the way, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, you would never see those people on anywhere near a dancing floor, anywhere near any of that kind of thing, except for the fact that their brand is on the rise. So there you go.
Yeah, Whit Levitt, you already had dance classes. This isn't impressive. I want Andy.
And I heard you lied. And so we're going to vote you out this week because of how you treated some of the girls.
Steve Irwin's son, he got it done, though.
Look at that.
Mate. He got that title.
Hey, the Irwins holding it down for decades. We know way too much about this. All right. But you see what I'm saying?
Dancing the Big 12 playoff cha-cha. Brett Yormark and Joey Maguire.
The reason it makes sense is because you and I get it. They're putting together a dadgum reality show.
You exude excitement in your feet.
And guess what?
10.
Guess what? Guess what? All those brands will always be. Was that your Bruno, by the way? You didn't stand up when you did it.
Ravioli, what is his name?
I think it's not Bruno Ravioli.
You exude confidence.
What I loved about the dance was. All right.
Kirry and Abo. No, we don't want to hear you. You're too long.
Len, may you rest, brother. All right. Bottom line is, it's a reality show. You see that those big brands are pushed by the big TV brands to be able to put together something that is going to get the most TV ratings. That's the end of it.
That would be the more effective top 25 rankings in the future. Just make it Dancing with the Stars format. Have them do a little sign. 14, BYU.
It's so hard to watch this from inside, so to speak, because we watch this thing. We know what the conference is doing to try to work their tails off. In a 2014 playoff, if there were 4 automatic bids, think about what that would look like for the Big 12, just based off of the standings, right? You're looking at Texas Tech, BYU, Utah, Arizona.
That's not bad.
That would be quite.
There's some wins in there.
Guess what? And guess what? There'd be a shocking win, too. A team would underestimate the Wildcats. They wouldn't know what they're getting with Noah Fafita. And you'd see a 18th seeded, fill in the blank first round team taking on however the setup is going to be, if they're going to have buys for the first 12 seeds. I don't know. Taking on a 13 seeded SEC team that is a 13 seeded SEC team, by the way, has got probably 4 losses in conference, right? So then you're talking about rolling out a team that is just trying to get by off of brand, laurels. If Tennessee thinks that they would just go in and beat Arizona, I think they'd be sorely mistaken. Am I wrong? That'd be the kind of matchup we're talking about.
You're right.
So,
that's why we got to get to that point, and then it settles itself on the field, because as long as the committee has all the power, Big 12 is going to get hosed no matter how many teams are in the playoff. We got to take a break, though. On the other side, we'll get to our sound roundup. We'll hear from Commissioner Yormark. Joey McGuire has a fascinating idea for college football in the future. We'll hit on that next here on First and 12 on KSL News Radio.